And last week, the Biden administration announced a new rule making millions more salaried workers eligible for overtime. Here to talk a little bit more about this is 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor. Whitney, good morning.
Good morning.
Talk to us first about who is eligible for overtime pay to begin with.
Well, that's a good question. So this is under the Fair Labor Standards Act. And so under the FLSA, certain workers are exempt from overtime and others are entitled to overtime. And so there's a test, if you will, but essentially salaried workers that make a certain amount of money are exempt from overtime. So because the overtime rules say, hey, if you work more than 40 hours in a week, you're entitled to a minimum of 1.5 times your regular pay over that 40 hours. But if you're exempt, then that rule doesn't apply to you, and no matter how much you work, you just get your salary. So right now, there's a number of criteria, but the most important thing and the biggest part of this change is the amount of money that you make now for you to be exempt is $35,568. So everybody who makes above $35,000 and they're salaried, they're essentially exempt in a broad base. Mm-hmm.
Why did we see the Biden administration do this?
Yeah, well, so the Biden administration, they said, look, the Department of Labor said workers' most valuable asset is their time, and if they're not being paid for their time, then it's a disservice to the workers. And when you look, this is a statute from 1938, and there's been very little changes in terms of the minimum threshold. And so $35,000 in this day and age is not a lot of money. So somebody could end up working, a 70-hour work week and not being paid for that. So under the new rule, they're actually upping that number. So now, as of July 1st, it's going to go up to $43,000. So that's about a $9,000 difference. So you won't be exempt until you reach that $43,000 mark.
And for everybody at home wondering, well, does this apply to me with this new rule? Is that the case? Who exactly will this apply to?
Yeah. So first you have to say, is the employer covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act? And that's essentially if there's 2 or more employees and they do at least $500,000 in annual revenue, but there's other criteria for interstate commerce and depending on the job you do. So this applies to a broad range of employers, but at least $500,000 in annual revenue.
And for people who are waiting for this to kick in, if it does in fact apply to them, when can we see these changes really take effect?
Right, so what they're gonna do, so as of July 1st, the threshold will go up to $43,888. So if you make below that, you're not gonna be exempt. You're going to get that overtime. Then in January of next year, it's going to go up to $58,000. So that's going to be a significant number for employees. So if you're making less than $58,000 and you're a salaried employee, then you're going to get that overtime. There's other conditions. This is a broad-based overview in the short amount of time we have. But yeah, that's the important piece, is that number.
Okay, well, Whitney, that was definitely a lot of information to go through in a quick amount of time. And you're right, there is a lot more to delve into here, but I think you gave us a good jumping off point, so we appreciate you being here.
For sure, it's good to be here.
Whitney.